conversation done. Eyes here. No comments unless you raise your hand and I call on your name. Okay. Today we're going to do what's called an equation warm-up. You guys have seen this before, but I need to bring it back from way back in your memory of last year. So before we start, no conversation, no voices. Before we start on new material, we're going to practice what we learned last year. To solve equations, our whole goal is to get the variable alone. The variable is the letter. And we always have to use inverse operations, or in other words, opposites. So, in order for us to undo addition, what is the opposite of addition? Jack? Subtraction. To undo addition, we must subtract. To undo subtraction, we must add. And to undo multiplication, divide. We are always looking at the opposites. Opposites, opposites. The only time I can give Miss Hoff a decimal answer is when the problem starts with a decimal. Otherwise, we will always work with reduced fractions. Okay? If you start with whole numbers or fractions, you should not give me a decimal answer. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means leave your answer as a fraction. Okay. Part of this is showing work. Ms. Hoff expects to see certain pieces. So this very first problem, 4 equals 6 plus v, and you've done this previously. Whether you love it or hate it, you're required to do it. The very first thing you're going to do is draw a line through the equal sign. This is so that we can keep that equal sign on the line. Every single problem should have this. Our whole goal is to get our variable by itself. So listen to what I'm going to ask you. Don't shout. Raise your hand. If I cover up v, because my whole goal is to get v by itself, somebody raise your hand and tell me what we need to get rid of. What do we need to get rid of if I cover up v? Jack?
We need to subtract instead of add.
Okay, right now there's a positive 6 there. And it's positive because there's no sign in front of it. The opposite of a positive 6 is a negative 6, or subtraction. So you're going to show me, I'm going to subtract 6. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So on the other side of the line, we are going to subtract 6. Draw a big equal bar. Everybody look at me. Use your calculator. Don't get this wrong because you made an addition or a subtraction error. Okay? Don't shout. Just do on your calculator and write your answer down. 4 minus 6. Don't change the order. Type it in exactly how it says. 4 minus 6. Write down your answer. Don't shout. Just write it down. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Now, 6 minus 6 cancels out, so we're going to put an X through them. My equal sign stays on that line, and my V drops down. Now, Miss Hoff gets in the habit of putting a 1 in front of the V. Do you have to? No, but it is something that you may want to get used to doing. Now, V is by itself. Nothing's added or subtracted, and I have a 1 in front of it. That's my final answer. You put a box around it. V is equal to negative 2. Go to the right. P minus 2.6 equals 8.71. We have decimals. So is it okay if we get a decimal answer? Yes, it is. Draw a line down the equal sign. Don't shout. Raise your hand. Listen to what I'm going to ask you. If I cover up P, what do I have to get rid of here? Courtney? Okay, it's a negative 2.6. How do I undo, or what's the opposite of a negative 2.6? A positive 2.6. So I'm going to write plus 2.6. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Draw a big, huge equal bar all the way across. Come on. You have to be doing everything we are. Negative 2.6 and positive 2.6 completely cancel. Drag down your P. Guess what Miss Hoff's going to put in front of it? A 1P. Put your equal sign on your bar. Everybody grab your calculator on your own. Don't shout. Don't shout to the answer. Take 8.71 plus 2.6. 8.71 plus 2.6. Brody, what'd you get? He got 11.31. Anybody else get 11.31? Nicely done. 1P is by itself with an equal sign, 11.31. Okay. I want you guys to try Y and K by yourself. Do exactly what we did up above. Draw your line through the equal sign. Cover up your variable and do the opposite. You do not have to, but don't forget your equal sign on your line. Solve the next two. Cover up Y. Do the opposite of what you have sitting there. Okay, actively working. You're trying to do these two on your own. You don't even have this answer written down. Come on. If I cover this up, what number is there? Okay. What's the opposite of that then? Positive. Cover up the Y. Then do the opposite of what's there. You didn't put a plus sign. Put a plus sign there just so you don't forget that you're adding. Look, good job. Looks good to me. Yep, now do this one. You do not have to put the plus sign in front of there. I know it's positive, so you don't have to put it there. Okay. With Y. So if I cover up Y, I have a negative 2.39. What's the opposite of a negative 2.39? Positive, so you want to add 2.39 to both sides. Don't move this one. Move the one with the Y. I want you to try it. That's what everybody's doing. Just do the middle two. You don't have to go any further than that. Do the middle two there. That one for me too. All right. If I'm on this side here, Y minus 2.39 equals 3.9. I draw my line through the equal sign. Everybody, take your pointer finger. Cover up Y. What's left there? Negative 2.39. What's the opposite of a negative? Positive. So I'm going to write plus 2.39 on both sides. Little things. Make sure you're at a plus sign so you remind yourself what you're doing. These cancel out. I drag this down. Miss Hoff's going to write 1Y. If you just write Y, that's fine. 3.9 plus 2.39 is 6.49? 29. 29. 6.29. 6.29. So I go to the right. I draw my line through the equal sign. I cover up K. It's a positive 1.6. What's the opposite of a positive 1.6? A negative 1.6. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Ms. Hoff reminds us, use your calculator. Type it in exactly how this says. 4.56 minus 1.6. I'm stealing off Caitlin's paper. She has 2.96. Anybody else get 2.96? Very good. Okay. Bottom left. Draw your line through your equal sign. Take your pointer finger. Cover up Y. What's sitting there?
Negative.
-2. How do I get rid of a -2? Add 2. +2 to both sides. These cancel out. I drag down my 1y. Now don't shout. Type this in your calculator. -9 plus 2. Don't shout it. Just type it in. -9 plus 2. -9 plus 2 is -7. -7. Okay. Go to the right. Draw your line through your equal sign. Take your pointer finger. Cover up M. What do you see? -2. How do I get rid of a -2? Add 2 to both sides. Cancel out. 1m equals. Type it in your calculator. Don't shout it. Don't shout it. Type it in your calculator. -4 plus 2 is -2. -2. You're going to hear Miss Hoff say it over and over and over again about taking your pointer finger. I have to use my whole hand, but covering up that letter to know what to do with it. Okay, so on that front side, all we did was add and subtract, right? Add and subtract, add and subtract. Flip your paper over. I'm going to throw a new curveball in there for you. Raise your hand. Don't shout this answer. When a number is written directly next to a letter, somebody raise your hand and tell me what math operation is happening between that -12 and y. Sarah? Very good. When they are directly next to each other, they're actually asking us to multiply them. And our goal is to get y by itself. So we talked way at the beginning. The opposite of multiplication is division. So still draw your line through your equal sign. But when the number is right next to the letter, they're multiplied, so we need to divide. You need to divide by whatever number is in front of that letter. In this case, what number is in front of there? Careful. -12. And we show division by writing these like a fraction. And again, whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. -12 and divided by -12 leaves me 1y. Type it in your calculator. Don't shout the answer. 24 divided by -12. Don't shout the answer. 24 divided by -12. 24 divided by -12 is -2. -2. Okay, go to the right. 8y equals 4. Draw a line through the equal sign. When 8 is right next to A, Sarah told us, you're actually multiplying right here, Miss Hoff. To undo multiplication, we need to divide. What number are we going to divide by? 8. Whatever is in front of the letter. Now, on your not a negative, because 8 is positive. This 12 was negative, that's why we divided by a negative. 8 is positive, so divide by a positive. Now, type in your calculator 4 divided by 8. What do you get? A decimal. Stop! Let's go back. The only time I can give Ms. Hoff a decimal answer is when the problem starts with a decimal. Did our problem start with a decimal? No. So you cannot give me that. If you type in your calculator and you get a decimal, back it up. Take this fraction and drag it straight down. The fraction we have is 4 over 8. Ms. Hoff wants you to reduce that. What number can I divide out of 4 and 8, Bryce? 2. So you're going to show Ms. Hoff that I'm dividing by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Can I divide anything else out? What else can you divide out? Another 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Whoopsies. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. Can you divide that down anymore?
No.
If you divide by 1, that means you're done. Okay, so 1A equals 1/2. I box in the most simplified answer. Put your feet down. Put your feet down because you're not actively listening to me. Pull your desk up to you and get started. Okay, I want you to do U. Go right down. I know this is kind of weird. Go straight down. Negative 3U equals negative 12. Draw the line through the equal sign. Okay, check. If that number is directly next to it, what's happening here? No, what's happening here? Multiplication. There's nothing in between them. So to undo multiplication, I need to divide. What am I going to divide by? Negative 3. Negative 3. Negatives and my 3's cancel and become 1U. On your calculator, negative 12 divided by negative 3. Don't shout it. Don't shout it. Negative 12 divided by negative 3. Miss Marilyn, what do you get?
4.
Positive?
Yeah.
Is she right?
Yeah.
Why? There's 2 negatives there. There's 2 negatives. It makes a positive. Nicely done. Nicely done. Okay, go to the left with the x. 3 equals 15x. Draw your line through your equal sign. Okay. I already heard somebody say we're dividing. My question is, what number are we dividing by?
50.
Why not 3? It's smaller.
Because the numbers are next to x.
Very good. You go by whatever's next to the variable. Good job not getting fooled by that. So we're going to divide by 15. Okay. So I get 1x. And when you type 3 divided by 15 on your calculator, Jack just told me, you get a decimal. Does Ms. Hoff accept that? So what do? Drag it straight down. 3 divided by 15, or 3/15. And then you got to check, is there anything I can reduce? Courtney thinks we can divide a 3 out of there. Okay. 3 divided by 3 is divide. 1. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 1/5. 1/5. Nope, you don't have the work to prove what you got. No, you don't. If you don't have 3/15 and showing me that you reduced, Ms. Hoff will not give you credit for this. Doesn't matter if it's long. You think that's long? You want me to show you what you're going to do next week? Pages. Okay? We're building foundational steps. It's the very base. If you're not good at this, it's going to continue to get harder. That's why we're going to do little bits at a time. Okay, on your own, do the bottom two. Make sure you show all your work, every step.
So we have homework, so you're doing like you're supposed to. Can you use your microphone now? Right.
Mm-hmm. When you divide that, what do you get? Careful. 3 is right. Okay, can you reduce that? What are you going to divide by? What are you going to divide by?
27.
Okay, so show me that you're dividing by 27. Okay, then what happens?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Will Miss Hoff let you have a decimal? Will Miss Hoff let you write a decimal as an answer? No, so drag this down. 9/27.
Where?
Just like you did here, drag it straight down. 9/27. Equal, oh, careful, you gotta keep it on the right side. All right, 27n equals 9. I should have divided by? I should have divided both sides by 27. Okay, 1n equals, and when you type 9 divided by 27, you get a decimal. So you drag it straight down. Yes, you have to show this work. Can I divide something out of that? What can you divide out? 3. It's okay if you saw 9. You're totally fine. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 27 divided by 3 is 9. But we can do it again. 1 and 3. 1n equals 1/3. Now, Sam back here said he wanted to divide by 9. When you divided by 9, what'd you get, Sam?
Just
1/3. You got the same thing we did. We just did it in 2 steps. That's fine. If you only see 3, that's fine. If you only see 9, that's fine. You end up with the same answer. Okay. On the next one, you draw a line through the equal sign. What should I divide by? -8. Good job with the negative. Divide both, whoopsies. Divide both sides by -8. Negatives and your 8s cancel. 1v. -32 divided by -8. Positive 4? 4? Bingo. Good job. Good job. Okay, guess what your homework is? The same exact thing. Now, you have to be cautious, though, because Miss Hoff mixed in. Sometimes you're adding, sometimes you're multiplying, sometimes you're subtracting. So you have to pay attention. You only divide when the letter and number are right next to each other. If there's a plus or a minus sign, then you have to add or subtract. Okay? Working silently. I want no noises, no tapping, no commentary. Mr. Brees and I will be around to help you and tell you if you are right or if you need to correct a mistake, okay? This needs to be done when you come to class tomorrow morning. Both sides. What is there, 9, 10 problems? 9 problems?